Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, October 27th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First off, a couple quick clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stocks number one here, ticker symbol ABVC. And yes, a very, very ugly looking chart, but for you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly, but there's no doubt about it. Big gap up, and then to think that there were some poor souls that were buying right there. Hopefully they had stop losses in place, because after that, it was pretty much bloodshed the rest of the day. However, you now look at it, and look where the price has gotten a little bit of sideways movement and a nice little green candle. Right there at that purple line, which on my chart's denoting the very well-known 50-period simple moving average. So that brings up a very interesting potential scenario here moving forward, and I do want to map out. Okay, not quite there, but that was the breakout point. So very close there at $1.15 as that former area of resistance, and when levels of resistance are broken, they tend to act as support. So you have basically a double area right here. Again, first area right there, that purple line, 50-period moving average. Second level, that former breakout point right there at $1.15. So in my mind, all this brings out the very valid question of, can this produce some sort of bounce? Now, there are no guarantees. So, that's why risk management matters, because to be fair, maybe this is just a temporary pause and this thing just continues to bleed. But that is a two-sided coin, because, maybe it is some sort of bottom and this thing's getting ready to get some sort of bounce back upwards. So again, that's why risk management matters. But the point here is that this is a very interesting scenario here. Yes, very, very ugly, but it's one of those situations where sometimes when things look so ugly, that's when they start to turn around, and maybe we have that here. So if you like these sorts of potential, ugly within, opportunity within the ugly situations, certainly keep an eye on this one for Friday. Next one here, ticker symbol MULN. Nice mover here. Got some consolidation, and now we have some very well-defined levels. So a couple ways you could look at this, and I'm not going to necessarily do this one, but I do want to point it out real quick, is, yeah, you could draw a trend line like that. Problem with that is, even if the price comes up here and breaks up through the trend line, then really, yes, that's a good thing, but it's not, really accomplishing that much, because not that far away, you then have that pink line up there, the 200-period moving average looming not that far ahead, which I would think is going to play a role in terms of levels of resistance too. So to me, in my opinion, I would just keep an eye on that one as the main area of resistance. Again, you can draw some sort of trend line if you want, but like I said, in my opinion at least, that may lead to some deception, because you would be thinking, oh look, it broke the trend line, and then you get overly excited, and then the price comes up here and just gets smacked back down by that level. But if the price can, if the price can clear up through that pink line there, I think that would be a sign of, good confirmation of a true break that has occurred. In terms of areas of support, if you like to play more so pullbacks, a couple levels to keep an eye on right here at the 30.5 cent mark. And then even if that level doesn't quite hold up, the next level you could keep an eye on is that purple line right there, the 50-period moving average. But like I said, in my mind, I think the most interesting dynamic is, can this thing curl back upwards and get the breakout of those key levels? And if it can, then you got to think a lot of other people are watching, which brings about some potential self-fulfilling prophecies where people start buying just because it's breaking out. Next one here, ticker symbol IBRX, and overall, nice looking move here. And I think my favorite part is the trend line that can be drawn. So let me be very clear. As I draw this trend line, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to apply this as a special skill or anything of that nature. I think a lot of people have drawn that trend line. And I say all that because, as I was just talking about, when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So no guarantees, but is it plausible to think that if the price can come back up to this trend line and then get a break up through it, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? In my mind, that is certainly a more than plausible outcome. So if you like to play this price range, you like to play breakouts, definitely keep an eye on this one for Friday and the next couple of days. Next one here, META, Meta, or Facebook as most people still call it, had earnings, and so a whole lot of volume, a whole lot of volatility today. But now from a technical point of view, some very well-defined levels, which is always a good thing for the, what I just talked about, especially on a very well-known stock. So Facebook here, very well-known stock compared to IBRX. So, that still doesn't necessarily guarantee anything, but it just puts that much more, realism in the sense of, yeah, that's reasonable to think that, any sort of breaks of these levels could create some upside buying pressure. So the first level that, again, got to think a lot of people have noticed is have a very well-defined downtrending trend line right there. Then at the same time, you have what I would consider a pretty solid area of support, or at least seemingly solid, at 284.50. So let me change that to represent the support. And really, those are the two main levels. What's going to happen in regards to these levels? If the price comes down here and pushes down through there, then at that point, it makes a whole lot of good sense that that would be an indicator that the bears are picking up momentum. So people could be going short, picking up puts, stuff like that. I can completely see that. But I can also see what makes it interesting is if the price does curl itself back around, gets to that level, and then pushes up through it. And that's what a watch list is all about, finding unique, finding interesting situations, and not rushing out and randomly buying stuff, but watching it and see how the price behaves. Or maybe you're looking at it saying, I don't find any of this interesting at all. Fair enough. It won't, this one won't be on your watch list for Friday. But if you do like these, different sorts of dynamics and these levels, and you find this interesting and worth keeping an eye on, then yeah, get it on the watch list. Next one here, AMC, and all things considered, I'd say a healthy day because the markets as a whole had a rough day today. And this one essentially has gone sideways. Now, big picture-wise, the price is still just stuck in between this overall sideways channel pattern, resistance up here, support down here. But I want to zoom back in here and just look at more so the near term of what's going on. And in the very near term, you have, really a very basic premise. You have a very well-defined area of resistance up there, just being the 200 period moving average, and with the price down below it, I would consider that an area of resistance. Yes, you have a little miniature area of resistance right there. But like the previous one, what was it? I think on MULN, even if the price were to break below that level, still nothing to get overly excited about because, again, you have that 200 period moving average not that far away. So that's why I'm just going to talk about and make that the key level right there. And then as far as supports are concerned, again, you do have a little minor one down here at the 908 mark. But from the short side of things, from the bearish side, if you're somebody that likes to play on the bearish side, I wouldn't get too excited that, if the price were to come down there and break through that level, yeah, that is bearish, but keep in mind, not that far away, you do have the bottom part of that bigger picture channel that I already talked about at 895. But in the very near term, yeah, that 908 mark actually now, look at this. Oh, you can't see me behind my ugly mug, and I want to show that though. There we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, 5 times now the price has bounced off that level. So that actually has become a whole lot more interesting. Didn't quite catch that at first, but yeah, 908, quite the track record. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here actually this evening. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage you can click to get signed up. But because it is a genuine live event, maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening. Maybe you're watching this video Friday morning and you completely missed it. It will be recorded, so if you'd like to see a replay of it, then send me an email, clay@claytro.com, and I'd be happy to send you a link. All I ask is I need a little patience because the event does first need to happen. Then I got to get it uploaded, but then I'd be happy to send you a link to the recording. But if you can make it live, then definitely get signed up, and I'll see you here in a few hours. Next one here, PXMD, and this is like that ABVC, so same general idea. Ugly looking chart, yes, but there can be opportunity in the ugly. And right here, you notice that the price has had this big old pullback, but now starting to go sideways right here at that purple line, which you now know is that 50 period moving average. So is it a guarantee? No, but is it plausible to throw out there that, hey, maybe, just maybe, this is finding some sort of bottom here, and that maybe, just maybe, this thing is going to want to, try to turn itself around and get some sort of bounce? Absolutely. Again, may just keep on bleeding. That's why risk management matters. But if you do get some sort of bounce back in the upwards direction, then from a risk versus reward scenario, you could be looking at a very, very favorable outcome. Next one here, TSLA Tesla. And we're at a very, very important moment as far as technical standpoint is concerned. And this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched past videos. But if you have, hopefully you remember me talking about 205.25 as an area of support. And you can see that so far so good. Late morning, early afternoon, the price came down there, did battle with it, and that level held like you would want to see it hold. And even in the last 30 minutes, the price is held above it. Now, the market closes here in 5 minutes, so I'm assuming that the price is going to ultimately maintain to stay above that level, but that certainly leads to a very valid question, very interesting question, at least in my mind, is can that level hold again on Friday? If it does not, then yeah, you could very well see some downwards momentum with the next key level of support then being in the, what I would consider a price target area down there right around 202.50. Now, of course, just because that price breaks does not mean the price is for sure going to go down to 202.50. I'm just saying that that's a reasonable area to watch for the chart to potentially go down there. And then, if you like to play bounces, potentially some sort of bounce down there. As far as areas of resistance, this is just based on the foundational rule that when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So if there is any sort of attempted curl back upwards, that'll be the first key level of resistance now at 210.25. But yeah, rough day here for Tesla, but to give some credit's due, 205.25 is holding strong. Let's see if that can continue into Friday. Next one here, AMZN, very popular stock and some well-defined levels. So once again, we have that talking point of those potential self-fulfilling prophecies. So the first level that you got to think a lot of people are watching right down there at level of support, 118.30. So let me get that mapped out as a green level there. But you can see right here, started off the day, found some buyers. Bears pushed down. Once again, the bulls showed back up, found some buyers, and got another bounce. So if it comes back down there again, a very valid question is, is this some sort of triple bottom? You have bottom 1, bottom 2. Does that turn into bottom 3 where you get the bounce back upwards? If you like to play those sorts of scenarios, then yeah, you might want to keep an eye on this one. Not necessarily just for Friday, but early next week too. In terms of areas of resistance, again, you got to think that a lot of people have drawn a trend line very similar to this, which brings about that talking point of those self-fulfilling prophecies again. So keep an eye on that if you like to play more. So maybe try to catch some sort of dead cat bounce or a bigger to move back to the upside. I'd keep a close eye on that level. So yeah, a lot of interesting scenarios here, but I think sometimes the most important part is it is Amazon, very well-known stock, so you're going to have that much more possibility of those self-fulfilling prophecies. So keep an eye on these levels if you find these worthwhile. Next one here, LIFW, and just a very, very solid basic formation here from a pattern standpoint. So as I've said, but I want to continue to reiterate, I'm not trying to impress you. This is not some sort of fantastic secret discovery. Nothing magical, just some basic dynamics here in terms of just drawing out some trend lines. So we have that area of resistance right there. No need to get too fancy about it. We have that area of support right there. So just because I can't stand it not being symmetrical, there we go. So let me change that to green, and then to make this all easier to see from a pattern standpoint. So we have our resistance, we have our support. We have the big upwards move here for you golfers out there. Make it a little bit more visual. Put the golf hole down there. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So again, no guarantees, but is it plausible to think, even if you just want to call it the self-fulfilling prophecy, that if the price comes up here and pushes through that level, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible outcome. So if you like stocks down below $2, you like bull pennant patterns, keep an eye on it. Next one here, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market is going to go up, this one will also go up. But also if the NASDAQ market has a rough day, then this one is going to have a rough day. And that's what we have here. So the bleeding continues, and put this trend line into play in yesterday's video. I thought it'd play a little bit better of a role, but on the good news, it's not like there was any sort of fake movements. I mean, the price just gapped down below that level, and then from there, down it went. But nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and change this to resistance now, just based on that rule. When levels of support are broken, they tend to act as resistance, because I'm curious with that. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level as it served its purpose for now. So if there is any sort of attempted turnaround, then again, keep an eye on that resistance right there as the key level, from a resistance standpoint. As far as supports are concerned, nothing I'm just kind of curious. Yeah, price has not been down here for a very long time. But as far as levels of support are concerned, nothing fancy here. Literally just a question of where did the bleeding finally stop today? And the bleeding finally stopped down there at $30 and let's see. Yeah, about 30.47. If you want to just call it 30.50, that would work too. So that'll be the main dynamic here. So if you double bottom players, you have a very reasonable scenario. You have bottom one right there. Whoops. You have bottom one, right there. So now it's just a question of, will this be bottom number 2? Will the price come down here and then get the bounce back upwards and potentially, who knows, maybe retest that trend line? Certainly a valid scenario, but you're also going to have people that are bears saying, I want to play shorts, I want to buy puts. They're going to be watching that level thinking, if the price breaks below there, I think that could open up the floodgates to the downside. So either way you look at it, definitely some very interesting dynamics. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more, then definitely get signed up for the class. Like I said, it'll be this evening, Thursday, October 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. But if for whatever reason you can't make it live, then go ahead and send me an email, clay@claytrader.com, and I would be happy to send you a link to the replay. As far as the top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do 2 things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment below, say hi, tell me what you traded today, give me your watches for tomorrow. But those 2 things help out the channel, and I really do appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. So go get signed up for that class, and hopefully I'll see you here in a few hours, or drop me an email, and I'll make sure to send that to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching.